we don't get going, I'll be saying good afternoon. Okay. Good morning. Thank you for coming. It's a big crowd. We thank you for your patience. We had to put more tables down. That's really great news. What we're going to do now is start so that we can get to the food. So let me start right away. I'd like to introduce Khalif Rader, Representative Rader's son, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. You please stand, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now we have someone who represented us for 20 years as Commissioner Bert Ahrens.
Good morning, everybody. I came out of retirement today to support somebody who I think is one of the best state representatives that we have in the state of Florida. I've known Kevin and supported Kevin from the first time he ran. And people who know Kevin know that he has a heart and he thinks of everybody in Palm Beach County and in the state of Florida. So, coming out of retirement today, I'm not active in politics anymore. Oh no. But to me, I had an appointment today at 11:30. My wife is home and she really PO'd at me because it's go to see her brother. And I said I had a choice to make today. To go see my wife's brother, who I happen to like, or come here to speak for Kevin Rader. And I think it's more important, because I can see my brother-in-law an hour later, but to tell each and every one of you that I think Kevin is the best, the one you should vote for, the one you should turn out for, and the one who will always represent you. It's my privilege to be here today, and I'm very honored that even though I'm not in office anymore, Kevin asked me to come and speak on his behalf. And even if he didn't call me to speak on his behalf, I would have been here anyhow. So with that, I have to leave to go see my brother-in-law. I love each and every one of you. I loved you for over 20 years and you supported me. Now Kevin is trying to do something to embarrass me. And he told me what it is. The last time in Century Village, the last time I ran, I got 85.6% of the vote in Century Village. Kevin is trying to beat that. So I don't want you to vote for him. You're the only one. Yay! Because I don't want my record broken. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to see all of you, and God bless you all.
Now we have Now we have Representative Rader's wife, Rabbi Amy Rader, to speak about the IDF campaign. Rabbi?
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Boker Tov, good morning, and I want to just welcome you. Thank you so much for being with us, to support Kevin and to support his work to represent all of you and your needs in Tallahassee. It's not an easy job, but he does it with a big voice and with great enthusiasm with all of your support. So we thank you. Very grateful to Stanley and everyone here at Temple Beth Shalom for being strong supporters. I want to just take a moment to remember that as incredible supporters as you are of our local community, that we have a responsibility as a Jewish community as well to look beyond our immediate environment and to remember our brothers and sisters in Israel. We all watch with great concern the news from Israel, the news from Europe, and it is truly our responsibility and our privilege as American Jews to do whatever we can to support our brothers and sisters in Israel. And we can't be there physically, every one of us, but there are some things we can do. We can be informed, and we can try to make the conversation about Israel a little more fair and a little more honest. It's not easy, but it is a responsibility that we have. And the other fundamental thing that we can do is to support our soldiers. And when we talk about soldiers, sometimes we think of these veteran warriors, career military people. But in Israel, soldiers are not career military people. They're children. They're young people. There are sons, there are daughters, there are brothers and our sisters and our grandchildren. These are our children. And they will not be defeated by terrorism, and they will not be defeated by enemies that hate just because they're Jewish. But they do lose morale when they feel like they're alone. And so it is our job, I believe, as Jews and as supporters of Israel, to do what we can to support the IDF, to tell those young men and women that they are not alone. Temple Beshalom has already raised $7,500 to support the IDF, and I encourage you, in any amount that you can, to support that campaign and to tell our soldiers, our brothers and sisters, our family in Israel that we are with them and we are not alone, that they are not alone. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Rabbi. We have two representatives up in Tallahassee. One is Kevin Rader, and the other one is State Senator Joseph Abruzzo. Joseph?
Yay! Hello. It is so great to be with everyone this morning, and I'm really excited to introduce my good friend, my brother, my partner up in the legislature, Kevin Rader. And let me just tell you a little bit about the district that we are all a part of and what we represent. We cannot go up to Tallahassee and be a one-issue team, a one-issue legislator. We have a very diverse district, as you know, so when we go up to Tallahassee, we immerse ourselves in healthcare, education, our economy. We have your needs, people that are living on fixed incomes, many of you, healthcare issues that we are very, as I stated, deeply involved with. And at the same time, we also have Belgrade, Pahokee, South Bay, one of the most economically depressed areas, not only of Florida, but the United States. So we go up and we work on every form of issue you could ever imagine. But I'm here today to talk about Kevin. Because Kevin and I, in working together, I want to tell you one thing that he always says to me. In all these issues that we work on, sometimes there are tough choices to be made. And he often says to me when we're trying to figure out what to do, you know, how would this affect my family? How would this affect my children? How would this affect my wife? And he always takes it back to that in our conversations. And that's how we oftentimes decide how we're going to vote, how we're going to debate, how we're going to team up together. And that, to me, tells you the core of Kevin Rader. It's not about politics. It's about the community. It's about you. It's about his family and your family. And that's why I am proud to have such an outstanding partner in the legislature, one that effortlessly, tirelessly fights for you. You can often see him get up on the floor strategically in some very incredible debates. And in the House, where I came from, that's what our democratic role is. We have to be the opposition party for the checks and balances. As you all know, we're greatly outnumbered, and you need an advocate. You need a voice for you that fights for you, that works for you, and that's what Kevin Rader does. He wakes up every morning and goes to Tallahassee and tries to figure out, when we're in Tallahassee, and tries to figure out how we can get things done, not to only be the voice of loyal opposition, but also bring things home for our community and fight for you. So it is my pleasure, and I will tell you this, I need Kevin as a partner. Kevin, whatever happens in the Senate, I need to also have it in the House, and you have to have that trusting relationship that somebody could carry things through, and all you have in Tallahassee is your word and your bond. Everything's based on respect and relationships. Kevin has the respect of his Democratic caucus. Kevin has the relationships to get things done, and Kevin is my partner and your advocate and someone we need to send back to Tallahassee. It is my honor and my pleasure to introduce your current and future state representative, Kevin Rader.
it still morning? Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Wow. Wow. Senator Abruzzo, thank you so much. You're like my brother up there. Senator Abruzzo and I were first elected in 2008 together. He's been a great friend for many years now. He's recently married. Mazel tov. And soon to be an expectant father as well. So you're going to have a big year, Joe, and I'm going to be there right next to you. And I love you. You're like my brother up in Tallahassee. Commissioner Aronson, I know he had to leave to have a family a date. The commissioner's been a friend ever since I've been active in politics here in South Palm Beach County when I moved here in 1999. The commissioner is the ultimate of MCs. The greatest support you could ever have, and someone who's just a great confidant. I know Senator Abruzzo would share that, along with Representative Schlossberg, who used to represent this area as well, who's a great man. I actually overtook his office right across the street here in La Fontana Plaza, if you've been there. Walking around the audience here, I ran 3 people. We've had hundreds of people from Century Village call our office. Hundreds. I had several people, 3 that Abe was sitting over here, and there was a Loretta, and I think a Roberta who said, Kevin, Representative Rader, we called your office, we went over to your office, and we had an issue, and your office staff did a phenomenal job. They helped us on our issue immediately, and I thank them. But, now granted, it's my leadership that did it, but it's Takita and Alexis who are here as volunteers, and Irene Gutentag. Irene is standing right over here. She lives here in Century Village, and one of the things that I said when I got elected was I was going to have someone from Century Village be in my office pretty much on a daily basis to serve the needs of this village. And it's funny, there's a book out there. Who knows Hillary Clinton? Right? We know Hillary? Hillary had a book a few years ago. It was called It Takes a Village. And in my head, I kind of think she had it mostly right. It's like, I think it takes a Century Village. But it's really been an honor and a privilege being a representative, representing you in Tallahassee for the past 2 years. And in a short period of time, Senator Abruzzo and we worked together on practically everything. We've done a lot of things together. The first thing we did when we were elected a few years ago, was we worked on teacher pay issue. How many people here are former teachers? They have family who are teachers, relatives, friends, whether it be in New York, New Jersey, down here. Probably about at least half of you. And the first bill we did was to have a bill that would make the state of Florida have our teachers pay the national average, not one of the closest to the bottom, because it was very important to Senator Abruzzo, and it was extremely important to me. We actually had a press conference at a public school a little bit north of here, because that is what public education means to us. And the public education, it's important for several reasons. And I'll tell you why it's important to Century Village, and I bring it up. Because it's educating the next generation. One thing Commissioner Aronson always says is he works so hard for his grandkids and his great-grandkids. And that's the same reason that I'm up here, and Senator Abruzzo as well. We come here, and Michael Limongelli as well. We come here because we want a better life for our next generation and the following generation. And paying our teachers the national average, not paying them above, but then we'll be able to recruit a certain type of candidate. And we can give them the dignity and respect that they deserve. I don't know a public school teacher who doesn't dig in their own pocket and pay by the end of the school year for something, whether it be erasers for the board or chalk or paper or something. And it's a very common thing. If you talk to any teacher, they all dip into their pocket. Another thing I did here for the village, Holocaust Victims Assistance Act. I was the main co-sponsor of it. And what it did was it allowed our Department of Financial Services the ability of going after assets, not just insurance policies, life insurance policies, but to go after assets and to work in coordination with the federal government. It also allowed for the department to do more education and letting people know that they're around and they can be helpful for anyone who's a Holocaust victim, or if you're a family of a victim or a survivor. And I recommend anybody to call my office. It's right across the street. We're not hard to find. You can ask Michael here. You can ask Stanley. You can ask Irene, who's very active. I know she goes to the gym every morning here. I put you on the spot. But it's a very vital thing to us. Obviously, my wife is a conservative rabbi. She was ordained in 1999. I put her through school. I worked 3 jobs when we were along this 6-year path. And while I'm bringing her up now, she shines a great light. And I just love watching her do what she does and helping people. The hundreds upon hundreds, if not thousands, of bar mitzvahs, weddings, funerals, family occasions, good and bad, that she does. And my wife she's the greatest. I would not be able to be up here today if it wasn't for my wife, Amy, who's right there, Rabbi Rader. Thank you. I love you. She's my Aisha Kyle. If anybody knows Aisha Kyle, I see it every Shabbos night, every Friday night. My son Caleb, who I told him at the last second he was going to be doing the pledge, who I think actually he's got an appointment this afternoon as well, but he was here greeting a lot of you. Caleb's great. He's in his senior year of high school, and some of you have grandkids or great-grandkids that age. Caleb has done he's been a great campaign volunteer, a great son. I have 3 other children as well. I have Ezra, who's at a Jewish sports camp in Greensboro, North Carolina, who's flying home today, and my wife is very excited to go get him at the airport in about a couple hours. Believe me, she is beaming, waiting for her Ezra to come home. We have Ruby, who's at Camp Ramah. If anybody knows Camp Ramah, there's about 8 or 10 of them throughout the country. She's coming home tomorrow. So we're looking forward to that too. And then Yael, who's at Herzl Camp. If anybody knows Theodore Herzl, one of the people I I certainly respect more in life of his vision of the state of Israel. She's at Herzl Camp in Wisconsin, and she comes home in a few days after that. So we have 6 of us. So I have, although 4 of them can't vote, at least not yet for me, but we have a great campaign team. On the lines of the Holocaust, we got a phone call about a year ago. It was from a man by the name of Milton Fishberger, if I'm not mistaken. And Milton is with Torah Or, our sister congregation right next to us. And I don't know if there's many people here who are members of Torah Or go there or know of it. And Milton had an issue. He had an issue with getting a grant. He was being stonewalled by certain folks. And he called our office. We talked to Michael about it. We talked to Stanley. We talked to officials at Torah Or, and we went full-fledged to get this grant, to get it passed. And Milton, even though I believe he may be a snowbird, he may spend a few months here and a few months up in New York, he was extremely happy that we got this grant approved, passed for security at Torah Or. It was a Homeland Security grant that we helped him get. And we worked not only with the federal government, with the state government as well. So when we're talking about things that we're doing here in the village, that was another thing that we did. There was another thing that we did in the legislature this session. The state of Florida, along with, and this is the Democrats and the Republicans, wanted to do more for veterans. And I know we have a lot of veterans in this room, a lot of World War II veterans, a great number of Korean veterans, maybe even some Vietnam veterans. We have a lot. My brother is right about to go on another mission overseas. He's part of the Navy. He's in the EOD, the Explosive Ordnance Division. Jordan Alex Greenstein, and he came back. He was there for 6 months. That's the bomb division. So it's the one that they put on the suits and they defuse the bombs. You can imagine how technical and how scary that is. He's being deployed back to United Arab Emirates and to Dubai. And I wish him great success and safety for him, and not only that, but all of our military. That's my brother, Jordan. But what we did in the GI Bill, we put $22 million in initiatives to benefit the military and veterans. We provided funding for National Guard members to receive a 4-year bachelor's degree through online courses for people coming back from our wars over in the Middle East. We expanded which veterans are given preference in public employment to include members of U.S. Armed Forces, Reserve Forces, and the Florida National Guard. We created the Florida is for Veterans, Inc., a nonprofit to promote Florida as a place for veterans to live. And we authorized the Florida Department of Veteran Affairs to sell memorial bricks that will be used for Florida Veterans Walk of Honor and Memorial Garden in Tallahassee. We have become, and we have said it, I think I've heard the Senator say it, we have become the most friendly state for veterans, and we want veterans to move here, we want them to go to school here, we want them to live here, get jobs here, raise their families here. And we have the leadership of not only the Democratic caucus, but the Republican caucus as well. Another bill that I had, and I mention it because it's a very important thing for Century Village. When Century Village calls me, I pick up the phone. When your president calls me, I pay attention, I listen. When Stanley calls me, who does enormously great work here in the synagogue, as Michael does for Kabrua, and my Lincoln ladies right here in the front do for their association, and for all the presidents, you guys really do a great job. And when you call me, I pick up the phone and I listen. And they called me a few months ago. And they said, Kevin, we're having a problem, a major problem with foreclosures. What's the problem? What can I do to help? Well, you know, right now in state law, when a condo or a home someone walks away from it, that person paying for that usually stops paying the association fees, the monthly association fees. And those monthly association fees go into Kabrua for their budget. So when more people are leaving their places due to the economic crisis that has happened over the last 6 years, there's less money coming into the association. And when less money comes into the association, they still have a budget that they need to meet. So they have to assess you larger assessment fees. So what can I do to help? Well, right now in state law, it says that it is 12 months or 1% of the total mortgage. 12 months of the assessment or 1% of the total mortgage. Whichever is the lesser of those two numbers, the bank that is foreclosing must pay the association. And what I tried to do in Tallahassee, is we tried to raise that a little bit from 12 months up to 24 months. So if you're paying a $100 coupon every month, rather than the bank paying $1,200, it'd be $2,400. Or, it was the lesser of two, not the 1% of the total mortgage. If you have a place here for $100,000 that's sold, its 1% would be $1,000. So at $1,200, $1,000 would be the $1,000. We tried to raise it to 3%. And as I'm thinking about it, Senator Abruzzo was my Senate sponsor. So we tried to do something in the legislature to stop the banks, to force the banks to pay more money to associations, not only Century Village, but every condo and homeowners association in the state of Florida. And we, unfortunately, the bill did not move. Sometimes certain industries, sometimes you work against them, and sometimes it just takes more than 1 year to get something done. So I mention that because I want to say things that we've done for Century Village. We did education. I did Holocaust victims. We helped Torah Or. We did the veterans. We did a condo assessment. And last but not least, for just the things off the top of my head that I scribbled on a sheet of paper this morning, Representative Schlossberg, when he endorsed me 2 years ago, he said, Kevin, I'm giving you a very, he was Century Village. Representative Schlossberg. He represented it here from 2000 to 2006, and then again when he came back from, I think, 2010 to 2012. And after redistricting, he was redistricted out of Century Village. And he said, Kevin, I am going to support you with all my heart in this election. But I want you to take care of Century Village. I want you to listen to them and take care of them, in which I believe I have. And one of the first things I said to him is, Irv, I want to take over your office. Because your office is right across the street. It's easy to find. Everyone can find me. You can take the bus very close to the Century Village bus and get over there. We come here, I think it's twice a month for Government Day. We take every call, we take every person, we do our best to help them with any issue that they're having, not only with state government, but we try to help their hand along with federal issues as well. So we've done outward, whatever we can do our office. We've had an open house in our office where a few people mentioned that they had seen me there and they had met me and enjoyed a little bit of food as well. So I think we've done a great amount. What I'd like to do further, I would like to push some of these aspects as well, but I think there's two grand issues on the scale that every Democrat must speak about when we're running for office. And one of them is we need more education funding. We got more money in the budget this year for public education than ever in the state of Florida's history. And we worked very hard for that. but per pupil spending still isn't as high as it was in the 2000s. We have more students. So Joe and I, Senator Abruzzo and I don't even have to ask him, he's just nodding his head, he knows these. We are going to go back to Tallahassee in January during committee weeks and get more money for our schools, so students have more money for our schools. And second, healthcare. Thank you. Listen, that's for the teachers. And second, healthcare. The working poor. Everyone here reads the Sunset and Lower Palm Beach Post, probably. Everyone here, I believe me, my in-laws used to live in Century Village for many years. And I know the habits of many people from Century Village. We've come in here many a times. I've visited the Holocaust Club. I've visited many different organizations that meet here. And I'll tell you this. One thing I know is everyone here gets the paper. And in the paper during session, it's talking about Medicaid reform. And I know there are people in this room who have most likely family who are in their 40s or 50s before Medicare who don't have health insurance. They're not covered by health insurance. But they work. I always use the example, maybe they're a truck driver. And the truck driver might have a wife and 2 kids. But they're not eligible for Medicaid because they choose to work. And the federal government, through the Affordable Care Act, allowed states to take, and this state would have taken $51 billion over 10 years. For 3 years, it would have been fully funded to help the working poor. The working poor. And to me, that's a Century Village issue. Because I know there are people in this room that have family that need that type of health care insurance. It is, to me, it's a right to be able to have. You should be able to get, everyone should be able to have the minimal amounts of health insurance, to be able to get a mammogram, to be able to see your internist on an annual basis. I don't have to ask everyone here. I know everyone here sees their doctors. I am fairly aware. I hear the stories. So Medicaid expansion is going to be on the top list of what we're looking to do when we get back into Tallahassee. On this note, I can see in the back we have our food that is in our drinks that are being prepared. So I'm going to kind of cut this a little bit because I don't want to. I know when you're the last speaker before the food, I know what everyone's thinking. But I want to put a thank you out to Century Village. You guys, you folks. My mishpacha, my family helped me get elected 2 years ago. It was because of you I'm standing here. And I have that honor and that privilege of representing you in Tallahassee. I always tell people, when they say, how is it being a representative? I always say, I feel like I'm the biggest social worker you can be. You can do foster care. You can do mental health. You can look at economic issues, unemployment compensation. You can look into so many great variety of issues. And you're basically mental health. You can help people. And that's what I look at what I do. I try to help people. And that's why my office, our slogan in our office is an unsaid slogan, but everyone knows it. We help everyone who calls or comes in. And you guys helped me get elected. I'm looking at the turnout here, and it's hard for me to get over a certain number, but it looks like there's about 30 tables of 10 each. We have over 300 people. It could be 350 people here. It might be one of the largest Century Village turnouts ever. And I need something from you. Thank you. And I think what it shows is that over the last 2 years, it's showing that they've approved of what I'm doing. They tell me what you're thinking. I sit down and talk to you as much as I can during my office hours. But I need your help now. We have an election. How many of you, I'm just curious by a sign of hands, received an absentee ballot last week? Okay, so we got looks like about a quarter of you. Well, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican or an independent, you can vote in this election. It's called an open primary. And technically it's called an open primary because no other Republican or independent filed. It's just 2 Democrats. And my opponent is a nice young man. He's the future of the Democratic Party at another time. And I hope one day I'm able to help him run for that office later on. But at this time, I need your help and vote for me on that absentee ballot. Or there's early voting. What's early voting? A lot of you probably know, but for some of you who don't know, I'll explain it. 11th it starts. Monday the 11th, I'm sorry. Sunday's the 10th, that's right. Monday the 11th. And it goes for 13 days until Sunday the 24th. So you have basically you have 2 weekends there. You have 2 weeks to go. And where is it? It's at one place that's very convenient. It's the public library on 441. And I assume most people know where the public library is on 441, right just north of Yamato. And you can go vote early. And there's other people running on the ballot. I encourage you to go vote for vote in the other elections as well. There's a third way to vote. And obviously this is the one that you're used to doing. On Tuesday, August 26th, you can vote. If you're from Century Village, you can go right to the clubhouse and vote. And so for all the reasons that I explained before, I hope that you would send me back to Tallahassee. It would be an honor and a privilege to be there representing your values, representing your interests, representing your thoughts. And please, again, my office is completely open. We're across the street. We're there 9 to 5 unless we have an emergency. Please, be in touch with us. Let us know what we can do to help you in the village and things that we can be to your benefit. Again, my name is Kevin Rader. We will serve the lunches coming to you, and we will serve the drinks coming to you. So everyone, please sit. Do not get up and go anywhere. If you get up and move, you might lose your boxed lunch. And it's funny, one person did come up to me and say, you know, Representative Rader, you nailed this. And I'm like, how did I nail it? They said, because now I have a bag with your name on it to be able to put my leftovers, my doggy bag, so I can take it home. So if you don't finish up, please take it home. I applaud Michael Lemongelli and all that he's done here in the village. I didn't see Marvin Manning, who I can't imagine not thanking him for his 30 years, 20 years of work in the village of the Democratic Club. Thank you, Michael, being a supporter, helping me, and doing all that you do. Century Village, thank you.
You will be served very shortly. And if you're smart, you move early, vote, you'll come to the clubhouse. It's a lot easier. Thank you very much.